with the interviews and focus group, you can gather more in-depth information, and you can just also adapt a bit the script. You have, when you are doing this type of methodologies, interviews, focus group, something, it's live. You normally have a script, certain questions you want to ask, but at the same time, you can just go more in depth with certain answers or reactions or topics or things that you want to analyze. Maybe you're talking about a character and they say, oh, okay, I don't like this character, or you've got from a survey that people don't like that character. With these interviews, you can just say, hey, okay, I understand that you don't like, but tell me why you don't like it. What's this making you? What does make you think that you don't like it? And then if they say, oh no, the visuals, I think they don't like. Okay, let's talk about the visuals. What do we have? And then you can go more analytical, more, as I said, in depth, and try to get as much as information as possible. It's different, but at the same time, the organization, it's more or less the same. When we are launching a project that includes interviews or focus group, scheduling them, it's just contacting the players, trying to find the best matches possible, and making them participate in the playtest. Sometimes it's only interviews because we have results from a previous research and we just want to validate, or as I said, go more in depth with the results, or we are doing a full playtest that includes the first part, that it's the playing or the survey, then analyzing the first interaction, and then with these results prepare a script for the interviews and understand more the results that we got from there. And yeah, for the interviews or focus groups, what we do is just schedule with the players. We just prepare one date. If the client wants to join or wants to moderate, we can also do that. Normally, it's true that we have a lot of expertise doing this type of methodologies, trying to get the best result as possible, but sometimes having someone from the developer team can help us, because maybe they want to ask something in more detail regarding the game that we don't have the knowledge. Because imagine that players have to play several hours. We don't normally play all the content. We just validate that everything is working and prepare everything, so we have knowledge of the UX experience, how to ask things, how to prepare the playtest. But the knowledge of the game, it's something beneficial that we have someone that knows the game in detail. In this combination, we can just do this combo of, okay, let's get the best results, the best information, everything that we need from this person that we are interviewing. Yeah, here we see more difference between interview and focus group. In the interview, it's one-to-one. It's a easy conversation that I can ask, you can say, and I can control more. In both scenarios, the moderator has to control the situation. You have more freedom of being yourself because there's no other people sometimes, and people feel shy, and it's more direct conversation. In the focus group, what we normally try to do is provide a certain question or topic and let the users discuss between them to see, okay, there's a part that says they like this part of the game, there's another part that they don't like. Let them talk to see if there's something that, okay, between them they can arrive to a certain agreement. Like, yeah, we like it, but this has to be improved. And you can see also what arguments they are using or not, and try to take it more profit out of the situation. Sometimes when you are doing a focus group and you are moderating, sometimes not. You have always to be on top of the participants, making sure that everyone can provide their opinion in a safe environment, but also that everyone is participating. Can happen that there's always different type of personalities, people, one that are more open, are willing to participate, others that are more shy, and you have to be more on asking them, hey, what do you think about this? Because maybe they are not participating, and you have to make sure that the ones that are more open or are more direct don't just overtake all the conversation and all the opinions, and have that leader of the group talking for everyone. Because if I was once in individual opinion, we will go with interviews. If I want this discussion, that's for the focus group are for. So trying to, as I said, having this safe environment, making sure that everyone can provide their opinion and have this balanced discussion among all the participants. The number of participants here interviews it's 1-to-1. Obviously, it's only one participant at a time. In the focus groups, it has to be enough people to be able to discuss and debate between them, but not too much that it just there's a lot of people and you cannot coordinate everything. That's why normally we go with between 6 and 8 participants per session, so you can have this active conversation. At the same time, you can just be focused on everyone and you don't lose control over a big crowd. When I started working on Antidote here, I remember that I had to moderate interviews project. I remember it because it was in the USA time zone and I'm in Europe, so it was kind of tricky for me with this weird scenario. But these interviews were like 45, 60 minutes, and it was a 2-part test. They have to complete the playtest first. Then I'll check the results and prepare and adapt the script that I had to understand a bit more of the expertise that I was saying. It was, if I'm not mistaken, this idle-ish type of mobile game. So I wanted to understand, client wanted to understand exactly the feelings of certain scenarios and especially between the relations between the characters, the visuals, and the mechanics they were offering. So there we just try to go in depth analyzing if it was a match or of the visuals had to change to make sure that it fitted the mechanics they were offering or not. In terms of focus group, for example, I will provide a bad example. As I was saying before, as Antidote, we don't provide the expertise of your game. We provide the expertise of having done a lot of playtests, the expertise of the UX research, of knowing how to prepare, coordinate, moderate, analyze a research. And this is important because sometimes we have been working with clients that they have a lot of knowledge in video games and they think that they know everything. What I'm going with these scenarios that we have clients that, hey, I want to do a 16, 20 players focus group, and we were like, that's too much people. We cannot have everyone opinions and only 30, 40 minutes that they were asking for a focus group. Like, if they have only 2 minutes to say something each of them, we don't have time to do anything. Because normally also when you do a focus group in the initial part, you try to do some icebreaker exercises, presentations to make sure that they are like, okay, we can talk. And we don't just go straight to the point. And they go, no, we want this. Okay, there's a moment that as a service provider, there's a client, you say, okay, let's do whatever you want. I've told you the scenario, I told you that this is not ideal, but if you have insisted, we can go with that. And obviously we did that, and the result was okay, but we haven't got anything from the focus groups. Why they didn't say anything? And it was like, we said this is the issue with doing a big group with not a lot of time, and we went for that. And we had to redo all the project, all the focus group session, but splitting them into 6, 8 players and making longer sessions. So that's why I remember this as the listen to your service provider expert in UX when you are doing this type of research. As I will listen to you when you say something about your game because I don't know how your game works. We were doing focus groups to understand the localization and appearance of a certain game between different regions. So we just prepared several groups, one per country or per region, and from there we had these materials that we were showing and talking about during the session, making sure that to understand what was working and what was the sentimental feedback regarding certain aspects, because nowadays, always, but nowadays that we are more global, we want to make sure that what we are doing it's culturally representative of certain regions, and it's not insulting other of them and stuff like that. So we were just having a in-depth talk about culture and how people perceive different elements of the game that the client was trying to develop. And from there, the client was able to rearrange certain aspects and remove others to make sure that the game was perceived correct from different points of the world. One of also that client that we helped, it's a FPS mobile stylish game that we split the research into parts. It's one of these examples that I was sharing before, that initially we did this survey part that we got, if I'm not mistaken, I'm checking 150 answers, and from there we get certain results of certain mechanics and maps that were working and others that not, and then we prepared the script based on those results, and we tried to understand on those topics and characters and the maps what was working, why players were thinking or were providing this feedback, and trying to rearrange certain aspects to make sure that the opinion of these materials, these items, assets improved over the time. Normally what we will suggest is, after doing these changes, revalidate with a survey to make sure that survey or other methodologies, depending the case, to make sure that the changes that they have done are working properly and accordingly to what the client was looking for.